People often ask, what is ADHD? Well, I can tell you after living 35 years of chaos. Yeah. Then one diagnosis changed it all. Let's talk about what is ADHD. Hi, I'm Mauricio. If you can't tell by the accent, I'm Brazilian, Latino, and I moved away from Brazil about 10 years ago. For most of my life, honestly, it wasn't a great life. I felt like a disaster human, until I was 35. That's when I found out my brain wasn't broken. It was just like, let's say, wired different. Everything finally made sense. Look, I'm not here to cure anyone, okay? I'm still trying to find where I left my car keys. I'm just a guy who spent 35 years wondering why life was so crazy, so messed, so loud. From ADHD and PTSD to surviving a narcissistic mother, yeah. I'm sharing the raw, unfiltered truth of my life. Let's stop being so hard on ourselves, okay? Laugh at the brain fogs and figure out a way to actually enjoy the process. If you spend your life feeling like a square peg in a round hole, welcome to the club. Hit the subscribe, join the MG Mind Lab. Let's get started. Since I start talking about this, people always ask, Mauricio, do I have it? Do I have ADHD? Or, I think I had it as a kid, but it's gone now. Sorry, but it doesn't work like that. It's not just like a code you recover from. Usually, people are just living a stressed or busy life. It's like everyone else has a steady engine. And I have let's say, a Ferrari engine with a bicycle brakes. And this comes with the question, what does that feel like? So that's where I would like to share my personal experience. So I like to say, imagine your brain is a jet engine going at 900 kilometers per hour, 24/7. It never stops. It doesn't have a off switch or like a brake mechanism. Sometimes actually medication helps to slow this down, but it's slow from 900 kilometers to 300 kilometers per hour. It's still fast, but less. And because of this, there are certain characteristics that are very particular on ADHD, and I will list them. I will list the ones I believe are the most important and crucial to determine if this is a ADHD or not. It started with my biggest struggle. The first characteristic is sleep. I struggled to sleep my entire life, really. Didn't sleep properly for 35 years. My brain was too busy, reviewing past conversations that I had or reviving traumas from my dysfunctional family. I only found out a good night of sleep felt like after my diagnosis and treatment for 4 years ago. That was a relief. I struggled to sleep my entire life. If someone is snoring, even in another room, this really happened many, many times, forget it. I'm awake. Ever since I was like 6 or 7 years old, I can remember I would be lying in bed and I could hear the tick-tack of a clock 1 or 2 rooms away, like in the living room. I would have to get up, find it, and do something like remove the batteries or put in a drawer or put inside the wardrobe so I could sleep, or at least just survive the night. And my brain was too busy, like doing something or imagine something or talking to myself or intrusive thoughts, very random, like why penguins doesn't have knee. And I couldn't rest. So my really first sleep was when I got diagnosed and treated when I was 35 years old. Yes, 35s are being tired, guys. That's a lot of coffee. I can give more details about those experiences in the future. The second characteristic is focus. I think this is very interesting as well, because the name of this condition is attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. But I kind of hate that name. It's not a deficit of attention. It actually is an abundance of it. So people say ADHD cannot focus. I disagree. We actually focus, but on everything at once. So if I'm in a room listening to someone, I don't just hear the person talking, the teacher or whoever. I hear the curtains rattling. I hear someone is whispering on the side, a car outside, my own thoughts about what I'm going to eat later or what I'm going to do at home or the game I'm going to play. So it's not a lack of attention. Actually, it's an abundance of it. And it's exhausting because it's too much, the brain is too much information on all the time, non stop. So focus, we are always focused on everything. The third characteristic is the sensory or sensorial or sense or sensory overload, how they put, right? Because our brain is full on all the time, our senses also are turned up too. A part of the sound that I mentioned affecting my sleep, my skin is so sensitive that like holding a cup of tea feels like burning. And for normal people, it's nothing, it's just hot. Another thing is the shopping mall, for example, in a public space where it's very busy. It used to be, sometimes it's still like a nightmare. And it still can be too much for me, nowadays. I remember when I was a kid going shopping with my mom and my auntie. They were browsing, have a great time doing their stuffs. But I was drowning. I was wasted. I can hear the crinkle of plastic bags, 3 different songs playing in different shops, kids crying, salespeople shouting about discount. It's all hitting me at the same time. I remember end up crying in the middle of the mall because I was just exhausted. My brain had run out of space, like think, to put the noise. And it's an interesting fact because actually this is very similar to what happens with autism. It's that same sensory overload. Though in autism, it's usually much more severe, but the road is the same. The word is just too loud for our wiring, let's say. A year ago, I went to Tokyo in Japan. It was very nice, where I nearly had a panic attack because it was too much. I was having a kind of a meltdown. So much light music, sounds, and people, and then walking the whole day. I was tired. It was too much. I remember I was wanting to cry. I couldn't function. I was like, ugh, I was breaking down. But then we got to the hotel. I just was browsing my computer. In like half an hour, it was much better. But now to help this, I use a background music. So I put a headset and I put a low volume music and calm music. And this kind of creates a shield to quiet the whole world down. So I kind of trick my brain, keep attention on this only thing here, that's calm, and leave the rest behind. Don't focus on that thing. It helps. Last week, for example, I did this. I went for shopping with my wife and I was with the headset. It was very good. The fourth and most important characteristic, in my opinion, that I like to mention, and sometimes people doesn't even know about this, because when people think they have ADHD, they think, it's because I don't have attention, because I'm tired, because I'm forgetful. But the one I like to point out is the voice, the inner voice here, in this box, right here. The voice talking in our head. Yeah, I have a voice talking to me. All the time, 24/7. No, stop. It's very annoying. Sometimes very loud. This is the thing that tells me if someone really has ADHD. The voice. This constant, let's say, narrator in our head that never stops. Sometimes I'm singing, like in my head, Sometimes I'm narrating my own life, like the next steps, I'm going to open a door. So in my head, I'm saying, you're going to open the door, you're going to put the key, you're going to turn, you're going to click for open the car. Things like that. Things I'm doing. And when I'm talking to someone as well, my voice just talks first, then I just repeat out loud with my real voice. It's just noisy because it never stops. You get tired at the end of the day sometimes. You don't want to talk to anyone. Sometimes I just want to sit down in a dark place, silent, to calm down. But the voice keeps there. And sometimes this leads to looping thoughts that cause anxiety. So like one thing triggers the other. And then even I feel like fidgeting without noticing. The voice is here, so I'm very active. So I start fidgeting my hands or fidgeting my legs. And most of the time I don't notice. So I'm watching a movie with my wife or my son and they kind of tap my leg to tell me to stop because sometimes shaking the sofa. And then okay, sorry. Then I stop. The bad side of this is that some people find ways to quiet, to make this voice quiet, to silence it with harmful stuff like drugs or alcohol. For me, heavy metal, electronic music, listening very loud usually calms me down. For some people, make them a bit stressed or even headache, right? Yeah, it might sound be paradoxical. So yeah, guys, that's the 4 points I would like to point out. This video, I think, is getting long than I expected, but hopefully, I'm giving the message. My life wasn't easy. I've dealt with abuse, PTSD, a lot of mess, But now I'm finally enjoying my life. My mission on this channel at MG Mind Lab is to share this experience so you don't have to struggle alone. Yeah, you have me as well. If you relate to any of this, yeah, let's talk in the comments. Hit the subscribe button and let's keep the code in our minds and enjoying this process. See you in the next video. Enjoy your life because I'm enjoying mine. Bye.